Okay. Alright, so we haven't done Starfield in over a week now, so I had to do it tonight, and I'm probably going to do it tomorrow night as well. Yeah, right, guy, but lately we've been really good in those situations. I don't think that can be an excuse. Okay, so where was I? Well, apparently fucking Brian Woo's going to start tomorrow, which tells me the team is just on autopilot, so... Like, why even get excited? Like, this is the most obvious spot in the world to bump up Castillo and Kirby and then figure it out on Sunday, but you're really gonna let fucking Brian Woo go against Eovaldi? Like, fuck off. What the fuck are you thinking? Alright, let's do whatever the heck that is, I guess. Maybe I should go take a nap first. Like, it kind of blows my mind that we're just going to roll Woo out there tomorrow to get executed by Texas's offense. That kind of blows my mind. It's not really Scott's decision. Apparently the analytics department decides all that. But, like, this is such a no-brainer. What are you doing? Brian Woo is going to get eviscerated by that Texas lineup. Do you have any idea how many runs we're going to have to score to offset it? Against Eovaldi? Jesus. Wait, I fucked up, I think. Yeah, I think I want to sleep for another 9 fucking hours. Do not do this in real life, by the way. If you sleep this much at once, it's not good.
It's about...
No, things would be way better. All we had to do was beat the Astros last night.
Well. Look who decided to rejoin the world.
Alright.
Sorry. Just Terrence. Wanting to stop here. help you? Can't say I have. When you work a job like this, you see so many ships. They all sort of blend together. Nope. I just keep my head down and do my job. Speaking of which, I better get back to it.
Can I help you? It's about time. I've been telling my supervisor about that cargo ship for ages. I'm beginning to think he was ignoring me. It's the way the crew handled the cargo. They were being way too delicate.
So they were good at their
The
jobs.
manifest said they were carrying potatoes, spuds. I don't know what was in those crates, but it certainly wasn't that. That's the problem. I don't really look at the ship names when I work, just the ID number granted for clearance. I think it was UC576B. I do know it's a cargo class transport, if that helps. Bye.
Okay. Can't go this way.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay, no bounty. You're clear.
Whoa, what the hell? That person just jumped up on top of the bank thing, I think. What is this, an MMO? Was that another
You've
PC
got
player?
something for me?
The heck was that all about?
Another day, another credit.
I don't know. There's a huge part of me that can't even get happy about tonight because we're actually starting Brian Wu tomorrow. It feels like we're just waving the white flag. Like, this is the problem. Scott is a robot. He doesn't have that ability to go, oh, we have to win this game. I should play my best players. He's like, no, it's just Wu's turn to pitch. Jesus Christ, man. What are we doing? We're going to have to score like 10 runs. We haven't scored 10 runs in like the last week. Yeah, Big Country, I don't know what else you can do. How can you possibly start Brian Wu against Texas? He's going to get murked. They're going to massacre him. All he has is a fastball. And Texas eats fastballs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like, you got to find another way.
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to discuss the details of my division's work. You are, of course, welcome at any time here in Mast. Same as anyone. Just be aware that you are being monitored. That I do, Captain. Sergeant Yumi said you'd be coming to pick it up. You've got good timing, too. I actually have a friend on a classified star station who sent me this list of potential smugglers the other day. Here you are. Given I owe you for the last job, I Hope it serves some use.
Hope and sneak, maybe mauled.
Yep. Every ship on that list has a route that goes through New Atlantis. Not surprising, given we're the biggest port in town. And if they're smuggling stuff there, you can bet your ass they're smuggling stuff here. That's right. Classified station, top secret projects, etc., etc. Nothing you need to be concerned with at the moment, Captain. All you really need to know is that we're here to serve, and we're the good guys. Our main priority is the safety and security of the citizens and assets of the United Colonies, wherever they may be. We keep an eye on, well, everything. No need to thank me. It's an honor to be of service. It's been a pleasure.
What? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, it's got to be this one. Potatoes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we win tomorrow, it'll be a Christmas miracle. Like, we're going to need... I think we're going to need at least 9 or 10 runs to even have a real shot. Because it's not like the bullpen is super reliable right now. Anyway. It's not like we can pull Wu after 2 innings and then get 7 shutout innings from the pen. That's not happening. Like... I guess we at least we can use Brash because he didn't pitch today, right? Who did we use today? Munoz for 1 out. Obviously Gilbert. Who did we use? Spear. Okay. Oh, that's it? Okay. I mean, I can't hate on that too much. That gives us a chance. So, Topa is available. Brash is available. I guess Saucedo. Although I feel like I haven't seen him in forever now that I think about it.
Found those smugglers yet? The whole department is in the process of recovering, myself included. If I'm being honest, I still have nightmares of my team turning on one another. Things can be replaced and wounds can be healed, but building back that trust in each other is going to take time. Luckily, we've built a good culture here, and we hired some new recruits who were inspired by what you did. I've got faith we'll survive this. Is that right?
Campbell.
Do
Yeah.
you know the name by any chance?
Oh, did you guys see? Apparently we cost the Angels an extra 200 grand because we played Leone enough. I think it's this guy.
Captain Enjai's ship. I think you might have hit the mark here. You had reports of their crew being less than professional on several occasions. Still, being a little rough around the edges isn't exactly a crime. Are you sure it's the right ship? Then the next step is searching their cargo for any smuggled contraband. And, as luck would have it, I believe the Anansi has already arrived at landing pad B. I'll make the call to have the ship detained until further notice. Your job is to board the ship, locate any illicit goods, and return them here. And if any of the crew puts up a fight, I trust you know what to do. Good luck.
Oh, the Rays have literally nothing to play for? Tragic. Okay. I just can't believe that the Houston Astros used the Mariners as their get-right games. Like, they were awful, and then they used the Mariners as like a spring pad.
Recycled
What
air.
happened to Canzone, by the way?
Just
Is
isn't the same
Canzone
as the
dead?
real thing.
Like, I know he hadn't been playing that well lately, but... I mean, Ty France isn't either, and you play him every fucking game.
You with UC Security? My suggestion? You turn around and pretend you saw nothing.
What
You're
the fuck
barking?
does that
You
mean?
don't need to be here. Make it easy on yourself.
Alright, no more messing around. Man, I hate to masturbate. Oh, oh, bummer. Okay, I don't want to steal. Although, if I'm about to massacre these people, maybe I should steal all their stuff, man.
Look. What? What now?
What do you mean, what now?
What?
Don't give me that.
Well, it looks like you got me, officer. I guess this means my potato shipping days are numbered. But maybe you'd be willing to give a first-time offender a slap on the carpal bone. I don't suppose you're interested in a deal? It's simple. I give you a large sum of creds. You turn around and tell your sergeant the ship was clean. That's unfortunate, Captain. Now I'm going to have to smuggle your body off this ship. You asked for it! Big mistake! You'll never pay for that.
Dude, it literally took me one clip to down both of you losers. Jesus. Oh,
What was that? We're all worked up for nothing.
Sarah, what the hell are you doing?
Have anything valuable?
You can't hide forever. All gone now.
Wait, I'm encumbered? Wow, whatever I just picked up was really fucking heavy. Yo. Okay. I guess I'll... They're not that valuable, honestly, but...
Hey. Want to see what I'm carrying?
Wait, she's full up? God damn it.
Okay.
Where's the other guy? There's definitely another guy around here. Did he just commit Sudoku? What the hell? Whatever. I guess it's not my problem.
Things for you.
Okay, I guess that guy just decided to quit life.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please give...
It's always a great day here in Kansas. How's the investigation going? No major hiccups, I hope? Holding your breath won't work. Good work. Did you find anything? Very well done, Captain. Time and time again, you come through for us. Initially, I felt bad for having someone of your rank doing security, but frankly, you're worse than guilt. In any case, I'll have a team move the ship off the landing pad and do a full sweep.
Am I not going to tell him that I had to
Make sure
kill the
there's no other
captain?
surprises on board. Oh, and before I forget, your payment. It's well deserved.
See, I get more credits for turning it in. Like, what the hell was that woman thinking? I'm going to take less money? I mean, I know I probably can double dip, but it's not that much money she was trying to bribe me with. Oh.
Sorry that took a while.
Welcome in.
My wrists hurt a
Hi,
lot
Captain.
from typing.
Where are we headed next?
Now, would you prefer they hurt because of masturbating?
That was awful.
It's an honest question.
No, I really don't like the feeling of arthritis. What was it doing?
achieving orbit now.
We're not going to be calling you Donald Trump. We're going to be calling you Donald Duck.
He looked like he just dropped the sickest burn of the century.
Yeah.
But it just like, it's hilarious because Chris Christie, and the last time he was doing this in 2016, he was the guy who obliterated Marco Rubio's campaign by talking about the prepared speech with the prepared slogans and the inability to divert away from your gotcha line and your sound bites and all that kind of stupid shit. And here we are now, 7 years later, and Chris Christie's campaign is being torpedoed by running into the exact same fucking things that killed Marco Rubio. Like, you know, that shit came out of a focus group of a bunch of fucking completely...
I mean, who does that appeal to? Who is that going to resonate with?
Right, like, that right there is the biggest problem out of all this, as a matter of fact. Like, if you're running for the Republican nomination, you do need to address the Donald Trump issue. But the way you need to do that is by making the argument that he already lost to Joe Biden once, you're going to have to convince his voters that it was legitimate, and you're going to have to convince his voters also that you would be able to successfully defeat Joe Biden in an election, and that the election would not be rigged if you were the nominee. Now, that's a tough enough ask as it is, but the vast majority of the Republican voter base are people who love Donald Trump with all their hearts. And you attacking him personally, not in the sense of saying, I'm a better and more capable candidate than he is in terms of winning this election. He was an excellent leader, he had great accomplishments, and I would love to follow his platform and his agenda, but I think that I am more capable of defeating Joe Biden in an election than he is. That's the argument you need to make. Instead, what you're telling his voters who love him with all their hearts is that you think that Donald Trump is subhuman, and then you attack him personally, you attack his character, and all this kind of shit, exactly like you're saying. Who the fuck does that appeal to? You're not running for the Democrat nominee. Your campaign has no hope whatsoever, because the only way you win is if you capture the people who voted for Donald Trump twice and convince them that they should vote for you instead of voting for Donald Trump a third time. How does he think that that works? Any of them think that any of their stupid shit works.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, you can see that they're clearly fucking scrambling because of how fucking absolutely off the cliff the DeSantis campaign has gone, when that was the establishments, the anti-Trump, that was their play. So all that money went right in the fucking toilet. It's already done. And going off of what happened at the first debate, it's already a matter of who's playing for second to Donald Trump. But the guy who quickly captured second place after DeSantis' fall is fucking Vivek, who's basically trying to be the new Trump. He's not attacking Trump at all, and is just instead shitting on how stupid the fucking political system is, and how dumb this entire fucking shit show's been for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's just all going right in the fucking toilet for them.
Makes me feel
Did
like
you see Asa Hutchinson's quote about not qualifying for that debate?
No, I did not.
He said, "Oh, it's like a bye week in the NFL. You don't play every week."
How does that matter at all?
They were trying to say, does that make you want to drop out? Does that make you feel like, you're done?
I meant from it's like a bye week. You don't play every week. Are you fucking stupid?
It's fucking. Yeah, it was fucking hysterical.
Can you name a single person in the last century who has actually gotten the nomination for their party who did not participate in every debate, not because they didn't choose to go, but because they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Nobody. Exactly, Austin. I know that you don't like Trump. You're talking about anyone who does like Trump as part of a cult, and you know that's fine, whatever. But exactly like you said, the nomination's in the bag. The worst polls that are the least favorable to Trump in terms of the Republican nomination have him leading by 20 points. The most favorable polls have him leading by 50. There's no possible way that he doesn't get the nomination at the rate that things are going, because the indictments only increased his support. The mugshot coming out was one of the most politically successful things to ever happen for him in terms of his support among Republican voters.
Yeah.
And Chris Christie's great plan was to call him Donald Duck?
Yeah, it's really fucking crazy too, because I don't know, it's like they're waiting for him to have his Howard Dean moment, but he's not really capable of having a Howard Dean moment. It would be really hard.
Seriously.
I don't know what he would have to do. And also, people forget that Howard Dean was going to collapse anyway because he didn't really... It was not the right time for a politician like him to be trying to run for president. At that point in time, an agnostic was not going to be able to compete seriously for a president. Like, he was going to collapse regardless.
Yeah. I mean, Biden's a Satanist and he has to pretend to be a Catholic just to win. But anyway, for those in chat like Austin, I was saying this to Joker the other day. Some folks may not have a vivid enough memory to remember this because it didn't last for very long before they abandoned it. Plus, if you're young enough, or especially if you're actually one of the few who are not actually in the United States but are still part of this community, you may have missed it because at this point it was 7 years ago. But for a short period of time, Hillary Clinton tried doing the exact same thing. When Trump was not releasing his tax returns, they felt that because harping on about the tax returns worked against Mitt Romney, so they thought they'd do the exact same thing against Trump. So Hillary starts saying, Trump, release your tax returns, release your tax returns. And he refused to even acknowledge the tax discussion. So she tried to say, look, he's Donald Duck, because he's ducking the tax situation. Then Rachel Maddow, hilariously on her show, without even looking at the fucking things first, unveiled his tax return live on television, and completely took her by surprise when she found out, oh, he paid $150 million in tax last year. Oh, oops. Like, that was a fucking all-time moment, but like the Donald Duck thing lasted for like a week, and then they abandoned it because it was not at all working. And that, I still remember that. And I remember that very vividly. So when Chris Christie came out with that shit, I was like, oh my god, he accidentally showed everybody the whole uniparty thing, that he's in league with the same fucking establishment people from both parties. It's a big club and you ain't in it, as George Carlin used to say. Because Hillary did the exact same thing. So either this came out of a focus group and they're actually that unoriginal and stupid, going for the low-hanging fruit that they went with that, or he just decided to dust off, something that didn't work for Hillary, and he thought he could make it work if he just sold it with a big goofy fucking look on his face. But the massive double chin kind of fucked that whole thing up.
Yeah, I feel like people in people in general have very short political memories. Like, it's kind of crazy how things that were very obvious and clear at the time become forgotten. Like, for instance, Hillary Clinton started the birther thing. And nobody remembers that now.
Yeah.
But 100% her camp started the birther movement.
Right.
And Trump
Because
latched onto it because he was originally supporting Hillary against Obama.
Right, because back during the time when she was running in 2007, when that whole thing was going on, she and Trump were friends because Trump was part of that inner circle for a long time. That's why, hilariously, as people talk about, well, Trump, he's friends with Epstein, and then they show pictures of him with Epstein, and it's all like, well, yeah, because he was a billionaire in New York, so was Epstein. That's a small circle, small social circle that you'd be there with. Most of the reason he was there is because of the time he was there with the Clintons. Trump had never flown on Epstein's plane where all the highly illegal shit was going on, and he never went to Epstein's island where all the extremely illegal things were going on. But Clinton had flown on Epstein's plane a number of times, and he almost certainly went to the island, but they won't tell us about who went to the island. Anyway, yeah, and they just jumped on that whole thing, and that's what led to Trump running, because Barry, never having forgotten that, he felt that Trump was essentially an easy target in the sense of he's not going to be able to hurt me politically, and he'll just keep giving us money for whatever so that he can keep buying political favors. But Trump took that shit hella personally, so then he ran for president and won. But he wasn't able to rub that shit in Hillary's face because politically she was too powerful. He had to, as much as he may rub it in her face privately, can't do that shit in public. Makes her look bad. But you're right, Hillary did start that whole thing. And it's because back when he was in college, his name was Barry Soweto. Jesus. Why didn't Trump attack Hillary for making the birther movement? Because, in a way, it's just attacking himself. Because Hillary started it, but it's much the same way that, think about a basic running play. What happens? The ball is snapped to the quarterback. Then the quarterback hands it off to the running back. In this metaphor, Hillary Clinton is the quarterback, and Trump is the running back. Hillary, she got the birther movement. She took the snap, and then she handed it off to Trump, who took the ball and ran with it. Attacking her on that, it's like, well, I might have been the one to start it, but I stopped. And you kept it going for years and years and years. And never recanted. Hillary, I think, did apologize over the whole thing and say that it was a big political trick. It was part of her campaign strategy, I think. I don't know for certain.
Yeah, to my recollection, I read her book that she wrote right after the election, What Happened, or whatever it was called. I actually read the whole thing, and she talked a lot about how horribly racist he was for coming up with that, and tried to play it off like, oh, that was his idea, I had nothing to do with that. Because it's pretty hard to own that. It's pretty hard to take ownership of that and then bash somebody else for agreeing with you.
Right. Snacks, who do you think will be in the NBA Finals? The Nuggets for sure. The East is a toss-up. There's a lot of things could happen. A lot of the most competitive teams have constantly had to deal with injury issues. If you look at the injuries that have been sustained to the Bucks and the Celtics in the last couple of postseasons, along with the Heat, if those same teams went down and got injured at the same time, you could make an argument that even a team like the Knicks could make the finals. Because when the injury bug hits, the whole thing kind of falls apart. The point I'm trying to make is that while the East is filled with very competitive teams, like the Bucks, like the Celtics, like the Heat, even the Sixers, they don't have a lot of depth anymore. This offseason was brutal for benches across the league. Now, I believe that the Western Conference is exceptionally weak, and that Denver really only needs to worry about one or two teams. But the thing is, they're probably not going to have to play against the most significant competition out there in every series that they play. Like, they're probably only going to have one actually competitive series, the same way that they did this postseason. Oh, they absolutely dominated the Suns. They still lost 2 games there.
Well, when Booker turned into like fucking Shaq for 2 games.
Yes.
Very fluky.
Yes. Booker had 2 of the greatest playoff games we've ever seen in the entire history of the NBA. That is not sustainable, which is why the Nuggets were easily able to win the 4 games where Booker didn't do that. So that's my point, is that in the Western Conference, the Nuggets essentially have no real competition. They have 1, maybe 2 teams that could really challenge them, but I think based off of how matchups work, they're probably going to have to play one of them. So if Denver is healthy the whole postseason the same way that they were this year, there's no reality where Jokic doesn't laugh his way into the finals yet again. The East is a very different story because injuries can make a very significant difference in who comes out. Assuming everyone is 100% completely healthy, I'm taking Milwaukee. However, that's not how things happen in real life. You need to play the games. Plus, the off-season isn't over yet and shit could still happen. Plus, there's an entire regular season to be played with the potential for trades and other meaningful signings that don't seem very important at the time. But I bring that up because Miami was able to make the finals this season as an 8th seed with a lot of talent that had been completely looked over, that no one really talked about at all or even considered. So, who fucking knows? The only thing I know for sure is, even though I mentioned the Sixers as a very competitive team, I guarantee you they won't make the finals. That's a layup.
Yeah, Giannis versus Jokic in the finals would piss off a lot of these people who seem... I don't know, I think there are people who don't understand how good Jokic is. And I do think part of it is like an anti-European thing, where there is a little bit of that going on here.
Right.
Like, Jokic is already probably, as it is, one of the 25 or 30 best players ever. And I feel like a lot of NBA fans don't grasp that yet, even though if you did any research, it's very clear.
Yeah, a lot of people already laugh at me when I sit there and say Jokic is on his way to becoming the GOAT. I'm big on Team Jokic, and like, when you sit there and look at things in terms of who's the greatest player of all time, now, for a long time people have said Jordan. For a long time, now people are starting to try to make the argument, oh, it's actually LeBron. And I'm all like, well, what would Jokic have to do to be at that level? Because he's already getting pretty close in the grand scheme of things. He's got 2 league MVPs. He should have 3-peated this year, but it got stolen from him because of horseshit narratives. Embiid should pay out Kendrick Perkins a shitload of money. But unless he gets injured this year, Jokic is almost certain to receive a makeup MVP award this season.
Right. Exactly.
Because Embiid got exposed horribly in the playoffs, which made it look like he was just a regular season hero putting up meaningless numbers, whereas Jokic had one of the best postseason runs that we've ever seen in the history of the league. So it kind of forced everyone to have to acknowledge, especially given the fact that on his way to winning that championship, he crushed Kevin Durant and then he crushed LeBron James.
Right.
So, the only thing that was missing is that if Milwaukee had made the finals, because then he would have crushed Giannis, and then a lot of people would have had all their heroes destroyed, and they'd be crying over that. But yeah, I mean...
Yeah. I need to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay, I am back. Alright. Anyway.
See, anyway, he's already got 2 MVPs.
He's gonna get a third unless he
Should
gets
have
hurt.
three-peated. Right. Should have three-peated this year, but he didn't because blah, he'll get a makeup MVP next year, and then he'll be the first person since LeBron to win 4 MVPs in 5 years, because it's almost certain that he's gonna fucking do it again. Because, while on the one hand, a lot of narrative would want to push it towards Giannis this upcoming season because Milwaukee's now a super team, that's the thing. Milwaukee's now a super team. It's going to take votes away from Giannis because Lillard is there. And other than Giannis, who could possibly have any say that they're in the MVP argument other than Jokic across the next 2 seasons? Anyone who would have been able to is now too old to meaningfully do it. And everyone knows by now that Embiid is just empty stats. It's the exact same way that Russell Westbrook never won another MVP after his first one. Because people realized how meaningless what he did actually was. So, gone. Luka's a good player, but the Mavs will never be good. Exactly. The Mavs will never have a good enough record to actually put him in the MVP discussion. Period. So, because of that, to me, I see it as being a done deal that Jokic is going to win 4 MVPs in 5 years and be the first person since LeBron to do that. So, that being the case, other than just having to play out the games to actually get there, you know, Jokic continues to climb higher and higher on the all-time list. He starts to climb higher and higher on that GOAT list. So I'm like, okay, so he needs to win more championships. He just did it this year. There's basically no one in the West who could really challenge him, and maybe that changes in the future. I highly doubt it because the West largely is rebuilding right now, and I guarantee Wembanyama's gonna bust. That is a horrible player. He was humiliatingly bad in the Summer League. I know it's only the Summer League, but no one who has ever gone on to be good started off bad in the Summer League.
Also, one other thing with Luka, it's pretty rare that a player that doesn't play any defense wins MVP. Like Steve Nash is the only one, and maybe like Westbrook, I guess. But it's really hard if you're not going to play some defense. Like Jokic isn't great on defense, but he's fine, and Luka's really not doing much on that side at all. So I don't think he's winning MVP.
Right. And Jokic is literally completely unguardable. Man, to an insane degree. So yeah, I just don't see any team beating Denver unless Denver gets injured. Because like Denver should have been competing for championships before this season, but they kept having injuries to key players. This was the first season that they were fully healthy the whole fucking time through, and they easily won.
For the crew, I assume dead, yes?
So, you know, obviously, you still have to play the games, you still have to get there, but again, I'm high on Team Jokic, and I think by the time it's all said and done, I'm like, as long as he continues to play at the level he's at, game is also really capable of lasting for a long time. Like, he's got the potential to be an Iron Man who stays in for a long time, just like, and stays relevant during the whole time he's playing instead of seeing a huge drop-off, like a Tim Duncan, which is why I like him so much, because he reminds me of Tim Duncan if you replaced Tim Duncan's defensive capability with Jokic's playmaking capability. Because Jokic is the best playmaking big man we have ever seen in the history of the league, and I don't think that's really debatable at this point.
But you like Jokic isn't. It's not like he's going to lose his explosiveness or anything in the next couple of years or something. That's not going to be a problem.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
he can play a long time if he wants to.
Right. He already has an exceptional jump shot, which could lead him to play into his 40s, like Vince Carter, if he wanted to. You never lose the ability to be a playmaker. You know, you just look at LeBron. And Steve Nash, as we were talking about him, Steve Nash could barely stand upright because of the fucking back problems he was having, and yet he was still an elite passer on the Lakers, which is outrageous. But that's not something you lose. Exactly like you're talking about, he's not going to lose explosiveness because that's not his game. His game is just fundamental basketball, you know, and it's kind of surprising to me that more people don't like Jokic, because aside from the beautiful basketball that he plays in terms of playmaking and passing and all that good shit, he's one of the few big men in the league who actually uses his size and plays up to being a big man. Like, it was really funny during the Western Conference Finals when LeBron would be trying to guard him and he would just obliterate him in the post. And he just straight up said, he's like, it's a mismatch. And people thought he was trying to insult LeBron by saying it was a mismatch. And he's all like, guys, I'm like 50 pounds heavier than him and half a foot taller than him. That is a mismatch. I know you guys want to ride LeBron's dick, but I'm literally a larger human being than he is. It's a mismatch. You know, so here you have an elite jump shooter who gets into the post and immediately bullies someone who's smaller than him because that's who they put on him to guard him. And it's funny that more people don't love watching his game because you listen to a lot of fucking boomers talk and that's what they want to see is the big man who goes and dominates in the post. And it's like, well, that's what fucking Jokic is doing. It's nuts. But, yeah. So, I mean, as a Heat fan, obviously it sucked watching the team lose, but as a Jokic fan, I'm like, well, you know, it's probably how Knicks fans felt when they watched Jordan beat him. It's like, well, fuck, ain't really nothing you can do. Just take that one on the chin.
It was still a fun season. It was still, you overachieved, I'd say.
Yeah, being only the second 8th seed in the history of the NBA to make the finals is pretty good. Plus, completely validating the existence of the play-in tournament as a concept is nice too. Because the play-in tournament was invented to make sure that LeBron could still make the playoffs on his crappy Lakers team. Before they got Anthony Davis, guys. How did they what?
I think so, Austin. I think Jamal Murray was hurt 2 years ago.
Nice job.
Yes, in 2022, that probably should have been the first year that the Nuggets won a ring, but Murray got hurt.
Alright, you're good. Welcome to it.
Well, no, Austin, what he's saying is that the Heat making the finals kind of validated the play-in tournament, that a team in the play-in tournament can actually make the finals. Which it's
right.
Like for instance, in the NFL right now, every team that has gotten the 7 seed so far has been obliterated in their first playoff game. So we haven't had that moment in the NFL yet.
Right. So it's funny because I was going on to make the point, but as soon as you said how did they, my train of thought got busted. The Heat validated the existence of the play-in tournament because my point was, as I was building up to it, the play-in tournament was initially invented to be an excuse to have LeBron still make the playoffs, even though his Lakers teams before they got Anthony Davis were absolute dog shit. And the league felt bad that LeBron was missing the playoffs, and they invented the play-in tournament. Now, the Heat were a play-in team. By record, they should have been the 7th seed. However, when they went into the play-in tournament, they lost the first game. And they very nearly lost the second game.
Alright, we're done.
So they almost were eliminated from the playoffs, becoming the 9th seed, even though by record they were the 7th seed. And yet, having had their record lowered because of the play-in tournament,
well, they would have played the
on they
Celtics
go.
Instead of the Bucks, right?
And yeah, that too, which was fantastic. But they then go on to make the finals.
I apologize for coming over this emergency channel,
Right,
but we are in need of assistance.
Because the Hawks won that first game. The Heat lost the first game in the play-in tournament, and they damn near lost the second game and were completely eliminated from the tournament. That's the point. If the 7th seed by record could get demoted to the 8th seed and then be an 8th seed and then make the finals, and yet they damn near lost both games against two crappy teams that didn't make the playoffs by record, the play-in tournament is valid.
Yeah. I actually like the play-in tournament. I liked it when it was invented, but initially I knew it was going to be a little bit bumpy at first, but I actually like the play-in.
But our grav drive is old.
It doesn't stop tanking, but it makes it less excusable for teams to tank.
Listen, we have kids listening, so let's just say affirmative. Very much affirmative. We have
Actually,
Yeah, I really like the plan too.
How will the new tournament do? Seems like a stupid idea. Oh,
the new tournament is an absolutely retarded idea. They should be absolutely fucking ashamed of themselves for coming up with that idea.
Soccer. I don't know where that it sounds
that
like
it yes, it is something from soccer. It is literally a concept that is from soccer. That's where Adam Silver got the idea, and he said, I think we should still. Would he have still made the finals if they were the 7th seed? The answer is yes, because they beat the Celtics while injured. Josh Hart injured Jimmy Butler's ankle in the second round in the Knicks Heat series. So a worse Jimmy Butler, an injured Jimmy Butler, beat the Celtics. So if they were the 7th seed, Jimmy's not hurt, and he pops the fuck off even harder than he did before. And we easily wipe the floor with him, and everyone's like, whoa, Celtics just got destroyed by a 7th seed. So then they would have been the ones that got shit on, and then their coach would have gotten fired instead of Budenholzer, because then the Bucks would have kept going. And Budenholzer never would have gotten fired. So the Bucks would now actually be capable of winning a championship if Budenholzer was their coach and they got Lillard. But you could also make the argument that them losing in the first round to an 8th seed is the impetus that made them get Lillard, because they needed to make a huge shakeup after some shit like that happened. So you never know. Yes, I have long held that the Heat have the Bucks figured out, especially Spoelstra. He knows how to beat Milwaukee as a team. He's got them figured out. When we lost to them, because we've played 3 playoff series against them since 2020. And the series that we lost against them featured an injured Heat team while the Bucks were healthy. Wouldn't you fucking know it? If that team was healthy, we'd have beaten them then too, because we figured them out. And I was trying to tell people that before the series started, and people told me, oh, Snacks, you're such a fucking stupid bastard. You're such a humongous homer who just roots for your team delusionally because you don't understand what you're talking about. How could the first seeded Bucks with the best record in the league lose to the 8th seeded Miami Heat? This team lost to the Hawks in the play-in tournament. They nearly lost to the Bulls. Barely even made the playoffs in the first place.
come on. Oh, these guys go down easy. The Nazis would use these trucks to transport the sausages. And
Exactly. That was fucking insane. I could not believe it when I read that shit. I was like, you gotta be shitting me, bro. Because, I'm not going to talk about it too much because this is literally the most forbidden fucking shit we could possibly talk about. But anyone in the world has to admit that it is very damaging when more of these fucking things come out, because not only are they completely unbelievable, but if they actually happened, that shit probably would have been brought up before now. Why is it we wait until we're further and further and further removed from the event to where most of the people who actually went through it are dead before we start talking about that shit happened? I don't remember that part of Schindler's List.
Well,
So it's super damaging because when that crap comes out, it just makes the whole thing seem less believable as time goes on and we get further and further removed from it.
Well, can
It's
we
like,
ask
why?
that Ukrainian war hero? Like, maybe he knows.
Can we ask what?
That Ukrainian war hero who's in Canada?
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe he knows.
Yeah, if anyone, you're right, you know, if anyone's going to know, it would probably be that guy. Yeah, you know, if that's the case, the finals might have been more competitive because, again, Josh Hart wouldn't get the chance to injure Jimmy Butler. And the reason I do that, it wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. Josh Hart is one of the dirtiest players in the league. He's a complete sack of shit. And he has caused a number of injuries before.
Remember Matt Dellavedova and the shit he used to do?
God. Yeah, fuck that guy. Would Bucks have beaten the Hawks and Knicks? Yes, easily. There's no question.
Hawks weren't good.
Yes. The only good player on the Hawks is Trae Young, and while Trae Young is a very exciting player to watch, hero ball does not win playoff series. It wins playoff games, it doesn't win series. So I don't think the Bucks would have swept the Hawks. I think Trae Young may have in game 3 or 4 had an amazing game-winning shot at the buzzer from like half court. And everyone would have lost their
Celtics.
Yes. Exactly. And everyone would have lost their fucking minds and it'd be trending all over Twitter and be on TikTok constantly. People would be talking about how Trae Young's fucking amazing and all this kind of shit. And then Milwaukee would have just pushed them aside and moved forward. The Knicks are not a good team as constructed right now because Julius Randle is not good against actual competent teams. He's built for the regular season, but the moment he gets into the playoffs, he's absolute dog shit. Brunson's pretty fucking good though, but Brunson needs help, and Brunson alone is not enough to defeat any elite team. Brunson alone wouldn't have been beating the Celtics. He obviously didn't beat the Heat, and he wouldn't have beaten the Bucks. So, not a chance.
I can't believe Creepy Sync got kicked out of a server for saying that shit. Man, that's depressing.
You gotta be really careful when you talk about the forbidden knowledge. Because people will take it very poorly. That's one of the most important lessons to learn, and you see young guys make this mistake all the time. But Alex Jones has been preaching for years that you don't want to show people your power level. Because you could be 100% completely correct, but just like Uncle Yuri used to say, when people have been completely and utterly wrapped up in their own shit, they're so demoralized that they won't be able to accept reality right in front of their face. And then, you know, you get all the lines from the Matrix, you know, where Morpheus is talking about agents to Neo, and is all like, you know, even though these are the minds of the very people that we're trying to save, every person that you see is currently part of the system. They're not ready to be unplugged, and each and every one of them will fight to the death to defend what they believe is real.
And do you ever stop and think how awesome it is that the Wachowskis hate that their movie got co-opted by the Red Pill movement like this?
I think it's great. Yeah, I love it too. Miami would have had the same run almost, just flip Boston, Milwaukee, and put 76ers in the state. Yeah, we've already been talking about it. I like the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell is a fun and exciting player, but I don't think they have really a good
Well, they have
team
Jared
as
Allen, but he fucking sucked in the Knicks series. Like, the Cavs
Yeah.
were actually looking good in that series, and he just fucking sucked.
Yeah, there's a great deal of players who are like popular among fans and seem like they're real heroes during the regular season, but as soon as they get into the playoffs, they just fall apart. I think he's one of them. Dame is obviously a big downgrade on defense for the Bucks, but Drew didn't stop Butler, so I'm cool with it. If you can't stop him, just outscore him. Yes, that's been a strategy for a lot of different teams. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But Drew never really had a chance to begin with to defend Jimmy. That is not the matchup that they should have sought, but Drew was their best defender, so they felt like that was their best option, but it's a mismatch. Like, it's just not, it was never going to work. And what's more important is that while, defense wins games, defense wins championships, defense, blah, blah, blah. Defense at the point guard position is perhaps the most meaningless defense on the court. Obviously, good defense is never a bad thing, but being a bad defender as a point guard is way less impactful on the team's chance of success as being a bad defender as a small forward, or as being a bad defender as a center. So, realistically, I don't expect the defensive downgrade to actually impact the Bucks at all.
Yeah, the issue is they're going to need Giannis to do a lot more defensively, so he'll have less energy to do things offensively, which is why he'll never win MVP this year.
That's a good point. Yeah. Unless he somehow shows everybody that he earned that fucking Defensive Player of the Year award. But, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Could be.
I don't know, it's hard. Like, it is really fucking difficult to be amazing defensively and to also be amazing offensively and to carry that load nonstop. 2013 LeBron is like one of the best seasons ever for exactly that reason. Probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Total bullshit that he didn't. But he still came in second place in a very close race and was one vote away from being unanimous MVP. That is ridiculous to think about. That the guy goes out there and puts up 2K numbers, just absolutely dominating everybody that he plays against. Offensively, and then also goes out there defensively and locks people up to such an extent that he damn near won Defensive Player of the Year. That is nuts. Yeah, that's why this year felt is that we won the rubber match, and all that shit they were talking went right out the window. Because everyone was saying Miami was a bubble team, that shit was fraudulent, because they won in 2021, but we were injured. So we go into 2023, we're not hurt, and then we whooped their asses. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I made fun of Cronin a lot, because I just saw what Sandy just sent me. I made fun of Cronin a lot during the Lillard saga, but obviously he won. Not only did he show that he deserves to win an award for what he managed to do, but if Pat Riley goes crying for Drew Holiday, and Cronin manages to get the Lillard package for Drew Holiday, then Cronin's GM of the decade. And there's debating that. Riley got molested on this deal. I can't think of any other way to put it.
Yeah, if you read the thing that Santi sent you, Dame even tried to make up with Portland, and he told him to fuck off. Like, that's actually interesting.
And right, and as I'm reading this here, I'm like, I'm willing to accept anything about Cronin at face value now, because he obviously fucking I posted the shit in the Discord. I sent it to DMs to people. Hey, you got a cute little ass. Give me your ass. Give me your ass. That's pretty much what it fucking was. So, I am shocked that they just go completely radio silent with Lillard and his agent because of the huge uncooperative cunts that they were being during this whole saga. And it seems like because reports were coming out that the Blazers and the Heat ceased talks on the deal during Summer League. So it had been a long... Exactly. So Cronin was basically like, fuck Lillard for asking for this, fuck his agent for the shit that he's coming out with, and fuck Pat Riley for thinking that he's going to get this shit just because of who he is and what Lillard tried to do. So it was obvious at this point that he was going to refuse any deal to Miami to spite Riley. With Lillard coming back and saying, okay, fine, I'll move forward with the Blazers. I tried to make my way out, but it didn't work. Whatever, let's run it back. And Cronin said, hell no. No fucking chance.
I still think the package he got for Dame sucks, unless Milwaukee's terrible in the next 5-6 years.
Yes, that is true. Cronin objectively took a worse deal from the Bucks than he would have received from Miami. Miami could have easily had Phoenix join and be the third team, and they get the exact same deal out of Phoenix that they got from this. They just also they would have had the Heat package instead of the Bucks package. However, this is where it comes in that Cronin is a legend. If he gets the Lillard package from Pat Riley for Drew Holiday, then he essentially makes the Dame Lillard trade to the Heat, and then gets the shit that he got from Milwaukee and Phoenix for free.
Yeah, that's possible. But he might also do that trade with Miami for less than the Dame package. That's possible too, because Drew's not as good of a player.
Right. But regardless, any deal that is made would still be a win for Cronin. I agree with you, they should have taken the Heat deal because it was just better. But if they end up trading Drew to the Heat anyway, then they basically get the same deal. Because, Hero's gone. Not just because he's basically our only real asset that we can part with, but also he's getting paid a lot of money. So if we're going to take any player that's getting paid more than the minimum, we have to dump Hero. Because no one's going to take Lowry in exchange straight up. He's the only other guy with the contract that can make those finances work. And yeah, just like Sandy said too, it would be hilarious if they traded, because imagine this would be like GM of the fucking century.
Running away, eh?
He trades Drew to the Heat for the Dame package, and then the Heat defeat the Bucks in the playoffs.
That would be pretty phenomenal.
Behind Drew shutting Dame down. And then Miami gets destroyed in the very next series that they play. It's basically like Cronin has ascended to a level even further beyond. And this guy should be absolutely crowned as basketball Jesus. Yeah, Portland's a bad city in general. They're a bad NBA city, yes. They're a bad sports city regardless of the sport, yes. They're bad at everything. They're a terrible place. They have terrible people living there. But regardless of any of that, Cronin absolutely won on this deal. Lillard can suck a dick. fuck him and his stupid ass agent too,
Then make it quick.
and Cronin won big time.
Still probably going to get fired when the Blazers get sold, if we're being honest, though. But he'll work again in the NBA.
While, yes, while that is absolutely true, this one deal alone went from him never being able to work in the NBA again to he's going to be the most coveted available GM in the league.
Spaces don't like
People are going to fall over themselves to hire this guy.
Oh, God damn it. What did I pick up that was so fucking heavy? Holy shit. What did I pick up?
Cronin, for the rest of his life, is going to be the man who straight up became the booty warrior and plundered Pat Riley's behind. There's just no stopping it.
Alright. Let's see here. And, like, right after the trade, Dame already did, like, I think it was like a little interview or something talking about how he wasn't too happy with the way Portland treated him after he made the trade request, and there's clearly some bad blood there. I imagine everybody gets over it eventually, but still, it's like,
Yeah. The only way Lillard calms down about this is if he wins a ring within the next 3 seasons, and Cronin apologizes to him.
I guess it's possible.
Because if Lillard gets, what's the word? Vindicated by actually winning a championship the moment he leaves Portland. And Cronin says, I'm sorry that really went the way that it did, but I took a lot of that shit personally, and it was basically like a breakup at that point instead of a business deal. At that point, he'll let it go. Because he got everything that he wanted. But if Lillard does not win a championship, and Cronin never apologizes, both of those options are both extremely likely, then Lillard's probably going to hold on to this until he's like 50. And it might be end up being like some Shaq shit where he finally lets the Kobe beef die like 10 years after he's retired.
like, Bill Walton is still livid at the, I think it's the Clippers, because he feels like their doctors fucked up the rest of his career. Like, I don't think he's ever let that go.
Yeah, and considering that's Bill Walton of all people, like, for those of you who don't know, Bill Walton is probably one of the original guys who smokes more weed than fucking Snoop Dogg as a professional athlete. That guy has been token up so much for so many decades. For that dude to be upset about anything is almost unthinkable. But his grudge with the Clippers is like a dog with a bone. He will never let that go, and if you start talking to him about it, he will get hot in a minute. And it's like, you really gotta be upset about something for a dude that fucking toked up to actually fucking be that upset. Goddamn. Ugh. If that's true, that's hilarious. Because it also means that he could have actually banged Patty Hearst. Of course, I know that's not the right word, but if I use the one that started with R that is actually accurate, the channel will get in trouble. Let me see here. Anyway, I just checked the game log for the Nuggets Warriors season from series from last season, and I just want to be sure. And yeah, Jamal Murray missed the entire series. He didn't play a single minute of that series.
I think he missed like a season and a half because of the injury, but I'm not sure. He missed a lot of time.
Yeah. And that's important to keep in mind that he didn't play in that series, because that series was pretty close. It was a 5-game series. The Warriors win Game 1 by 16, Game 2 by 20, Game 3 by 5. They lose Game 4, and then Game 5 they only won by 4 points. Blew Denver out in the first 2 games, and you can make all sorts of different excuses for why that is, but the largest lead was 20. And Jamal Murray is an extremely prolific scorer. So they lose Game 4, and then they win Game 3 by 5 points and Game 5 by 4 points. If Jamal Murray is there, there's every realistic expectation that they'd win that series. And that's the eventual NBA champion Warriors too in 2022. So that very easily could have been the first year that the Nuggets actually win a championship. Which would have been something else if that ended up happening, because you could make the argument that if they had won the ring that year, then Jokic would have three-peated his MVP this year. Because a lot of people tried calling him a fraud MVP because he didn't win.
Very true.
Well, that's the point that I'm trying to make, Austin. You know, the Warriors did have one more run in them because they won. But games 3, 4, and 5 were extremely close. So even if they still lose the first 2 games, if Jamal Murray's there, I've got to believe that they can score enough points to win game 3, 4, and 5.
Would have been interesting.
Who knows what
for
happens
sure.
then?
I mean, that Warriors team was not exactly great. They were good enough to win the finals because Jordan Poole was legitimately playing at a kind of elite level at that point somehow, but...
Yeah, Jordan Poole essentially did the same thing throughout the whole postseason that Devin Booker did for 2 games. Which is play way the fuck above his capability to a level that he would never replicate again.
Wait, don't shoot! I am unarmed.
Oh
Look,
shit, you've got a
we can
man
help
bun,
each
I'm gonna
other.
have to shoot
I can
you.
be useful. Just don't kill me.
Does Snacks think I'm liberal?
Livy, and I mean you.
I'm reasonably sure that you're young.
This place was full of traps. Traps
Like you
everywhere.
might be
I believe
22
them.
or younger,
This
is my
corridor
guess.
is just too dangerous. See? Looks normal. One step inside, slam! You are trapped.
Because
And
of
nobody's
that,
understanding
you
when the
know,
doors reopen.
your actual political feelings are difficult to actually
knew how to
nail
get to the
down,
corridor.
because, yeah, see.
But I figured it out. There are
How the hell did you see
Because,
that comment? That
the
comment was
floor
like 300
is a
pages
grid.
ago.
Those letters must spell something. But there are so many words.
Scrolled up to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Why does everyone always say that?
Um,
See? I've been helpful. You could let me go. Or better, I can
Canadian
help.
team's trying to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Traps.
He doesn't want to be
I know how
signed.
this mantis
Like,
thinks.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on stream maybe at least once, but just in case I haven't, Joker knows about this, because I talk about it fairly frequently when Kaepernick comes up. But I'm a big Ray Lewis fan. I like a lot of the things he did, especially the murder. So, Ray Lewis,
No!
he has a soft spot for Kaepernick because when he played against Kaepernick in the Super Bowl, he thought he's an elite competitor. He's a really good player. I want to give this guy a chance. I think he's getting a raw deal because he believed in Kaepernick's hype. But what he ended up doing is he convinced the Ravens owner to give Kaepernick a shot and to fly him out to Baltimore to do a workout with the team to replace Joe Flacco when they moved on from him. And Kaepernick was super grateful. He was like, oh, hell yeah, let's fucking go. So while Kaepernick is in the air on the plane flying to Baltimore, Kaepernick's girlfriend, who is a mouthpiece, who either has a radio show or like a podcast or something that she does, but all she does is race hustle. That's her whole fucking shtick. So while Kaepernick is in the air flying on the plane, she goes on a huge rant specifically about the Baltimore Ravens owner and Ray Lewis, where she refers to the owner as Calvin Candy and Ray Lewis as, I forget his name, but Sam Jackson's character in Django Unchained.
Steven.
And then, then she even goes on Twitter and posts a Photoshop with the Ravens owner face over Leonardo's body and Ray Lewis's face over Sam Jackson's. So naturally, that got a lot of people's attention, and naturally, that made Ray Lewis very upset. So as soon as Kaepernick showed up, they told him, turn the fuck right back around. Get the hell out of here. I never want to fucking see you again, you sack of shit. Kaepernick does not want to play in the NFL. He doesn't want to sacrifice his health. He doesn't want to get CTE. He doesn't want to take the hits, any of that shit. He's a bad player. He's got bad decision making. Everyone knows that. Everyone has seen that when he actually played. But he doesn't need to play football to make $100 million. He's the only non-professional athlete that is signed to a 9-figure Nike contract to sell shoes. And it is all because of race hustling. That's his game. That's his girlfriend's game. He doesn't want to play football. All he wants to do is say, they won't let me play because I'm black, and I'm outspoken about black racial identity and racial politics. And then just uses his inability to actually be signed by a team as proof of exactly that point. But Ray Lewis, a black man, was giving him a chance and even convinced the Ravens owner to do it. And then, for the first time in her entire life, all of a sudden his girlfriend starts ranting and raving about how awful Ray Lewis is. It was done intentionally, so that he wouldn't get signed, so that he could sit there and say, the Baltimore Ravens owner, a white man, refused to sign me even after I flew all the way out there. He turned me away at the gate. This is all because I'm black and I'm outspoken about racial politics. So then he can continue to make money from simpletons who actually think that there's discrimination against black people in the NFL. Remind me again how many black people actually play in the NFL.
I would
Jesus
assume
Christ,
so. I
when
would
is the
assume
last...
so, Austin.
Yes, his girlfriend is black. Oh, if you're talking about if they're mixed race, let me check. On Kaepernick's girlfriend. God, they had a kid last year.
I'm listening.
She is quite literally African. However, it depends on your definition and also the definition of the people who are part of the whole thing. She and her family are Egyptian. So yes, literally African, but these days they kind of consider themselves more Arab African. Because a Middle Eastern identity is seen as somewhat more respectable than an African identity, I think.
What? Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah. However, having said that, she's not from Egypt. She's just ethnically Egyptian. Born and raised in the United States and is a graduate of UC Berkeley.
Something you need? I'll be right here.
She is a prominent voice on New York City's legendary radio station Hot 97, hosting Nessa On Air, a nationally syndicated radio show in over 15 markets. 2018, she succeeded Kat Greenleaf as the host of the long-running interview segment Talk Stoop. In 2019, Diab received a New York Emmy nomination for her work on the Emmy Award-winning program.
What?
Yeah, she tries to say that Goodell has blackballed Kaepernick from the league for his protests, and that's why he's not getting signed by anybody, which again is complete horseshit, because if Goodell had done that, Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens owner would have never flown out Kaepernick for a workout. Dumbass blackballed himself with him and his woman's fucking deplorable behavior.
And being bad at football.
And being bad at football, yes. Before all this fucking started, when he was still with the Niners, I will never forget this in my fucking life. Because it was one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen in my life. Niners versus Rams. The Niners are on their own, like, 4 or 5 yard line. And I think it was Cromartie was their fucking wide receiver at the time. He's far over on the left side of the field, but here's how bad it is. The Rams had pulled in their safeties to stack the box, and no one was covering Cromartie at all. He is literally the only human being on the left side of the field. No one's covering him at all. And Cromartie is trying like hell to get Kaepernick's attention. And he's just not listening. He's not looking over at him. He even called a fucking audible because it was a pass play to start. He calls an audible for the handoff, and he hands off the fucking ball. It's like a 1 yard gain. When Cromartie, that was a guaranteed touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I just sent you the DM.
Yeah, any wide receiver who had the ability to score yeah, exactly. Exactly. Fucking A. Like, that moment right there showed everyone in the world, holy fuck, Kaepernick is terrible. Because, like, I remember the moment when RG3 was shown as completely done and everyone knew he was finished. Is that it was like a 3rd and 20 situation. It was 3rd and long, and the thing is he had 2 open receivers. One receiver was open at the 10-yard line, but he was open to such an extent that no defender would have been able to reach him before he hit the first down marker. So it's an easy check down. He runs in, gets the first down because there was no one even close to him. Then there was another guy who was open, but he was much further down the field. He's about 40 yards down the field. However, any quarterback who has the ability to throw a deep ball would have easily been able to hit that guy. Like Tom Brady could have made that pass in his sleep. Again, 3rd and 20. RG3's decision was to scramble for a 3-yard gain. Brutal. So, like, as soon as that moment happened, Washington gave up. They gave up on him. They said, okay, we're moving on. And that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw that Kaepernick play. I watched that game live because, again, I'm in the Chargers broadcast market, especially because this is before the Rams had moved back to LA. So the only Southern California team at all were the Chargers. Now, there are way more Raiders fans than there are Chargers fans in this area. Like, this is fucking Raider country, period. But the Raiders were based in Oakland at the time, in the LA market. It was Chargers. So, because of this, the Chargers were not playing that day. So, for whatever reason, the only game that we had on at the time was Niners-Rams. So, I'm watching Niners-Rams with my dad, and I saw that play happen live, and I was all like, oh, look at this guy, he's fucking wide open. We're just going to see, like, the easiest touchdown in history. Then he hikes it and fucking hands it off, and I'm all like, is he retarded?
Yeah. I found the play I sent you.
I was sitting there, yeah, I was like, that is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. God, I could not fucking believe that shit. Yeah, I can't believe that the Rams actually didn't have anybody covering him, but it completely worked out for them because they called it that he wouldn't even fucking throw to that guy. And that's the sad thing, is that before he hikes the fucking ball, when this picture's taken, Kaepernick is looking to the left side of the field. He sees the receiver who has his hand up in the air. I'm reading in the comments, I think that was Torrey.
Yeah, Torrey Smith, who won a Super Bowl against Kaepernick with the Ravens, actually. Maybe that's why
Hilarious.
he didn't throw to him.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, just fucking pathetic, dude. Like, he's a bad player, bad decision making, stupid fucking guy. Everybody knows it. So, like, the thought process that this guy right here would be blackballed from the league for protesting when he's just actually bad at football. Like, he's an obnoxious cunt. The last thing you want to do is give his woman an even bigger mouthpiece to, like, constantly shit talk your team. And he's stupid. Like, all the success that he had as a player was due to he had otherworldly athleticism to be able to scramble a lot, and it was before defenses had figured him out to scheme for that kind of shit. But as soon as they started scheming to, okay, let's make sure somebody's spying to make sure that he doesn't just fucking take off and run, and he was getting rocked a couple times, suddenly now he's having to actually make throws, and he has, for the NFL, a mediocre touch. I mean, obviously, if you can make it to that level, you're not awful at throwing a football, but among starting quarterbacks, it's barely fucking mediocre. So at that point, you're like, okay, if we end up in a pass situation, this should be pretty simple. Only thing we really need to do is defend the run, and you get plays like the Rams did right there. They defended the run. It actually worked. I can't believe that shit. All these years later, I still can't.
Yeah, there are those plays that you just never forget. Sometimes for epic reasons, sometimes for hilarious reasons. Like Dan Orflorski running out of the back of the end zone. For,
That's right. Or, I want to say it was Jose Canseco, but do you remember that one time the fucking baseball bounced off his head?
I do.
You never forget that shit. Like, one of my favorite hilarious moments that I remember in basketball I'll never be able to forget is during the 2012 NBA Finals, Heat Thunder. Russell Westbrook did something you almost never see when the ball gets stuck between the rim and the backboard. And this was when he was already making a complete ass of himself and was actively tanking the Thunder's ability to be a successful, efficient offense, because he was just throwing up brick after brick after brick. And this was a game where he was being really fucking all hoggy and chucking up tons of bricks, and I was laughing the whole fucking time. And then finally, it's like the second quarter, after like an entire half of basketball of him just fucking playing like shit like this, and then he gets the ball stuck like that. I was fucking dying. I'll never be able to forget that. And that was one of the least important, most inconsequential plays during that final series. So I'm sure very few people actually remember that, but I'll never be able to forget it because of how hilarious it was to me.
Exactly. Let me see here.
Nate Robinson making a 3 on the wrong basket. Yeah, this is one I'm sure everyone, like, because it happened in the finals. Fucking J.R. Smith dribbling out the clock when he had, like, and the fucking look on his face afterward was all fucking squinting. It's like, dude, could you make it any more obvious that you've been fucking
Alright.
smoking some shit during the last time out?
Alright, guys. I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes, and I'll be back shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, I am back. Boy. Okay, so
What's up?
nothing. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go like another hour, I guess. And then I'm gonna tap on out of here.
Okay.
The fuck? Is there another robot? God damn.
Leon, you've done it. Claire now witnesses to you. Find all you need to be the Mantis. My darling. I haven't been the best mother these final days. I wish
No, Austin, I don't think it can be because we won't have an interview until Saturday evening. So anyway, what are you hearing about Payday 3's gameplay? Because I know you were talking about it the other day, and I liked the first Payday quite a bit. I didn't get to 2 yet, but are you hearing the gameplay is good?
I'm gonna read some threads now. Let's see here. Okay, the first thing I'm seeing is people are bitching because the game is always online. So this guy's mad because he's like, that means the game will be dead and unplayable whenever the publisher decides to kill the servers. But being always online has already caused multiple issues at launch. When I launched the game for the first time, I was told I needed to make a Nebula account and link it with Steam, which is annoying but not awful on its own. Then I found out that you can't play single player. No, invite only doesn't count because it still puts you into fucking matchmaking. Everyone has to play on the Nebula servers. You don't have a choice. Want to play alone? Fuck you. Wait for 20 minutes of matchmaking. This also means that you can't play the game at all without internet. Right now, however, you can't play the game anyway because the servers are down. If only the game didn't rely so heavily on dedicated servers. Well, that's pretty bad. Then, premium currency for microtransactions and blah blah blah.
It's free on Game Pass. Is that including PC Game Pass? Because I do not have an Xbox.
But I do, so that'd be awesome. From 3 days ago, that thread I was just reading out loud was from 7 days ago. From 3 days ago, it says, Beta 3's launch has gone so badly that Starbreeze says it's now looking at making some sort of offline mode. So that seems to be the great deal of complaints that people have, is that it's always online, dedicated servers, and the matchmaking. Which seems to be annoying for sure, but they appear to be already fixing it, so like, give it a month.
Okay.
Should be fine.
Alright. If you would not have a problem with it, I do not mind going back and trying Payday 2 at some point, because, like I said,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I did play Payday 2. It was pretty fun when I experienced it. Definitely. And a lot of people appear to be playing Payday 2 now as opposed to Payday 3 because Payday 3 has disappointed them so much with the dedicated servers and the matchmaking and all that kind of shit that they went back to play the Payday 2. You know, sort of like Back for Blood and Left 4 Dead 2.
Right.
Since I've been watching some barbecue videos on YouTube, my recommended is filled with a bunch of faggots fawning over Wagyu. And I'm like, you know, I've never had Wagyu before, so I cannot speak to the quality. However, I do wonder, just by looking at it, if it might be something along the lines of, because it's known as being the thing that rich people have and all that kind of shit, that people might be fawning over it in a way that maybe they wouldn't otherwise. And I'm just saying that in terms of, like, I don't know if I would actually enjoy it until I get the chance to try it. Because as I'm looking at it, the thing genuinely looks like it's more fat than meat. And I'm like, that looks like it might be too rich and would make me sick. You know?
I'm trying to remember
Have
if
you
I've
ever
had
had...
it before. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I must have. Yeah, I think I've had it before.
Well, I technically have had Wagyu before. Someone gave me Wagyu jerky, which, as you might expect, it just tasted like regular old beef, because the whole point to Wagyu is that it's extremely well marbled and very, very, very fatty. And jerky dehydrates the meat, literally, so all that fat is just gone. I have no idea what the hell the point is. But, all up because in my recommended keeps popping up American Wagyu, which is the Wagyu cow from Japan crossbred with American Angus beef. Actually, it looks pretty good because obviously it's much more well marbled than pretty much any other kind of cut of beef that you might find here, while at the same time being much more robust in terms of the amount of actual muscle fiber that's there than regular Wagyu. Looks a lot more tasty.
I've never played a Forza game 12 Man for Life, so I don't know. All I know is I like prime rib, especially when the edges are like salted. Like that rock salt, they rub it in that rock salt beforehand. That's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, good crust on any cut of beef, but prime rib especially is very key to the overall deliciousness. My favorite cut of beef is the ribeye steak. My second favorite, actually, are beef ribs. Beef ribs are my favorite kind of ribs, actually.
Nice.
But it's getting harder and harder to find them being sold at restaurants, because I remember a long time ago when I was much younger. Matter of fact, I'm going to check to see how they're doing as a business, because they went out of business in my location.
Oh, okay. So here's a question I just got submitted. I just got in my email from Quora. I have a gun and let my 13-year-old son borrow it for shooting practice. He took it to school the next day and threatened a bully. The police are now
Oh my
involved.
god.
Will disowning my son stop any charges brought to me?
Ha ha ha. Holy shit. Is that a fucking woman who posted that? Like,
It
wow.
doesn't say. The thing about Quora is you post anonymously, so really dumb
Yeah,
people can
there's no
post
way
it.
there's no way to know if that's even real or just some fucking autism. But that's hilarious. Wow. Yes, it does have to be true. You have to be astonishingly stupid. Because like the story to me doesn't add up. Because if you're the kind of person who your son would walk up to you and say, "Hey, could I borrow the gun for a minute for shooting practice?" and then you would just say okay and just hand it to them, I don't think that's the kind of son who would also be getting bullied to the point where he would take that gun to school to threaten a bully. My god. Because I'm like, if you're that fucking lax with your firearms for your fucking kids, I feel like you'd be like more rural kind of American, in which case if your child is having trouble with a bully at school, they would just get into a fist fight, not actually fucking try to fucking shoot everybody. But hilarious. Either way. It was very, very amusing. Thank you.
I just love how, like, this last part of the question is like, will disowning
Yeah.
my son stop any charges?
Yeah, because like if until the question comes, actually you don't know what the question is, because you could think about what the question would be, but it's not until the question's actually asked. It's all like, would disowning my child prevent me from getting charged with any crimes?
I mean, I think if you just want to flat
Yes.
answer the question, I'd say no, because you still gave them the gun. You still gave a minor a weapon. Like, I don't think disowning them is going to
Right.
undo that.
Yeah. Yeah. For instance, you don't often see the parents of serial killers disown their children. So. Oh God.
My wife cheated on me because I can't make her happy emotionally and sexually. What should I do?
Get a new dog. I mean.
What would a gun owner do if I follow him into a public washroom and tell him that he's going to get a bit hurt for not giving up his gun? That's I mean, it...
Say that one again?
What would a gun owner do if I follow him into a public washroom and tell him that he's going to get hurt for not giving up his gun?
He would shoot you.
That's what pretty much all the answers say, to be clear.
I'd like assume you're there to smoke his pole or something. You follow him into the fucking bathroom. Like,
do you remember this scene in American Psycho where Bateman follows the guy into the bathroom to kill him, but then he turns around just as he's about to do it and thinks he's in there to suck his dick?
Locked in.
right? Yeah, that was great.
So Bateman, of course, decided to go with the flow on that one, and
yeah. That's why I've always wanted to see the 37-hour restricted cut. But
whoa, this ship is way better than my first ship. This ship is awesome.
Navigational feedback checks out. We're in the right place.
Why should I respect the LGBT community when they disrespect my religion on a daily basis?
Scan complete. You are clear to land in New Atlantis.
well,
Interesting
you
question.
shouldn't.
Enjoy your visit to Jemison.
I mean, that question answers itself. You don't have to respect anybody. But you don't want to.
Yeah. I love this.
You just
site.
deal with... Right. You just deal with the consequences. The worst thing they could do is try to ruin your life.
Which they're doing anyway.
Seriously.
Which they've already done.
Exactly. As a wise man once said,
Hey,
my ancestors are smiling on me, Imperials.
so I can watch your back.
Can you say the same? Oh, man.
Are you a
Hunter spends a fortune to
homosexual?
maintain the lodge, but I'd say it's worth every credit.
Man, I can't believe the voice actor who plays Dale is fucking dead.
Wow. I am surprised. As I'm watching this this YouTube short, this broad cooks a Denver steak, I'm surprised because she did an excellent job of searing it. It has a great crust on it. But she cuts into it, and the thing is so fucking rare. It's blue rare. It is obscenely rare.
That sounds disgusting.
And I'm all like, yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, how did you do that? How did you put on that good of a sear and that good of a crust on the outside, but on the inside it's literally raw meat? I don't know how the hell she did that.
I would not eat a blue piece of meat ever.
Oh, when you say blue rare, it isn't literally blue. It's just a term. Blue rare is like the absolute lightest amount of cooking possible, to where there's almost no difference between when you picked it up raw from the store to when it's actually finished. Let me try to find a picture.
Rise and shine. We've got things to do.
There you go. Hilarious, because she was like, well, I probably could have cooked it for 30 more seconds on each side to get to a nice medium rare. I'm all like, are you fucking insane? You think 30 seconds would have been the difference maker here? Good lord. Got some more clarity on the unlikely scenario where the Mariners win the AL West by sweeping the Rangers and the Astros going 2-1 versus the D-backs. Tiebreaker for a three-way tie is division record, and the Mariners would have the best divisional record in this scenario. Not only that, but the Astros will be the odd team out because they have the worst divisional record of the three.
Makes sense. Yeah, if we win tomorrow with Wu, or technically now today with Wu on the mound, that is an all-time Christmas miracle. Okay, here's an actually normal question I got in my Quora emails. Why can't bullets be made out of steel instead of lead so they can be removed with a wound with a magnet? Like, that's actually a question someone could actually ask that's not completely batshit.
I like the way you put that. I actually want to read the answer to see what the answers would be, because sometimes the answers are even better than the questions.
Okay, I'll copy and paste it and send it to you if I can. It lets me do it.
I found it immediately.
Oh, okay. Oh, you already found it, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the first answer is the sane answer, which is exactly the shit that I would have said, which is not all steel is magnetic and bullets aren't made completely out of lead. No, that's not true. This person doesn't know anything about ballistics. Yeah, that's probably the best answer. If the round was made out of the same material as the barrel would very, very quickly deteriorate. See more funny answers.
My mom told me that I can't live with her anymore. I'm only 29. I don't understand what's going on here.
The fuck indeed.
Here's an interesting question. Why did people jump from the Twin Towers if they had a chance of surviving? That's actually a kind of interesting one to ponder.
Well, what do you mean by chance of surviving? Like, the people who jumped were the people who were on the floors above the crash and had no chance of getting out because their way down was completely destroyed by the,
Well, if they don't believe the tower is going to collapse, they could just assume, well, eventually they'll figure out something. They'll get a plane up here, and we can jump on the side of the plane, like, or, you know, they'll probably be like, well, something will happen.
which is true, and lots of people did do that, and then they died when the towers collapsed. There were thousands of people inside the towers. Like, it was a big time logjam in terms of like the evacuation and all kinds of shit going on. A lot of the jumpers were people where the floor they were on was on fire and they didn't have the ability to escape the fire, so they decided that they would rather die by jumping than by burning to death.
Some of them probably got blown out by some of the, like, the smoke. It was like, either I stay here and I die of smoke inhalation, or I jump.
Smoke inhalation would be way better because you'd lose consciousness.
True.
Have things for you.
I'm pleased to report that.
And hey, you never know. If you flap your arms hard enough, you'd.
I'm sure we have anything you might need. Welcome to UC.
I did actually look up one time, would it be possible to hold like a blanket, like a parachute, when you jump out of a really high place? And basically, the general answer was it would be impossible for you to maintain your grip on the blanket. But if you could, it might actually work okay. But you'd have to have like snapping turtles for hands to maintain your grip.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they should do an episode of Mythbusters where they all jump off the Empire State Building with a blanket to confirm or deny.
In the arms of the angel. Welcome everyone to the last episode of Mythbusters.
Oh, well, certainly.
So yeah, that definitely is the case for Payday 3, as millions of people bitching about how bad the servers are, and with the game being always online, the servers being that dog shit basically made the game unplayable. The matchmaking's bad too. There's no server browser, so you're playing a game of roulette and praying there's an open lobby with the difficulty on the heist that you want, or you can wait 5 minutes for other people to join. Second, there's no start a solo mode either, so you have to go through matchmaking even on invite-only games. I understand always online, but why do I still have to go through matchmaking servers? The point isn't you can start the game in invite-only mode. I should be allowed to skip the matchmaking servers and only authenticate the fact that I'm online on login if I just want to play a solo heist. Third, no server browser means that I have no clue or have any ability to change my own matchmaking preferences. What if I want to go to servers further away because clearly nobody near me wants to play at the heist and difficulty I want to? It's just such a downgrade from Payday 2 and even Payday 1. I don't know why games are moving away from server browsers, especially in a PvE game, but it's ridiculous. It's a shame because the game plays great, just doesn't let you play. So yeah, if they fix those server issues, sounds like it's a great game, because no one's complaining about how it plays. They're just complaining about how it doesn't let you play. What if you stapled a blanket into your hands?
I feel like the staples would rip out. I don't think that's enough.
Yes.
But if you were using staples that would actually, like, keep the blanket there, that might work. Now, you might not float down slow enough. You might still, like, shatter your femur when you land. But that might actually, on some fundamental level, kind of work.
In the instance of what you're talking about, what I think would be the most likely thing to happen is that the blanket's stability, in terms of the shape that it's formed to be able to act as a parachute, wouldn't be maintained the whole way through, and then it's the resistance and drag it's creating would be lessened, so then you would speed up your fall, and then you'd be fucked. It's like parachute failures can happen in all kinds of different ways, and some of them is when the canopy's like not properly deploying all the way open, then you're just fucked.
Which is why, if you work in a tall building, you should always take a parachute with you.
Anything I can help you with?
Okay. Let's see here. Alright.
Here, I have something for you. You're welcome. I picked it up on one of our latest planetary expeditions. I'm more than just an extra gun, you know.
Can I wear a bikini at a Hindu temple? What the
The hell kind of question is that? That is the stupidest fucking... No, of course you can't. Can you wear a bikini at any religious anything ever? The answer is no.
Sure.
If you can, then it's a fucking bad service.
Sure, a big yes.
Jesus.
You can go there even without any clothes, without putting on extra weight, right? And the best part is, the moment you enter the temple gate, people will offer you food, clothes, and some coins as well. So carry a big bag. Actually, our society is full of kind people, so you can wear whatever you want.
You in deep
Thank you.
thought or something? I'm just pleased I get to utilize some of my old field
That's a pretty
collecting
good one.
skills. It's been a while. Check back with me from time to time after we return from our planetary jaunts. If I pick anything... Yes? I'll only carry the good stuff. Just kidding. Until later.
Hey.
Carrying enough clutter there, or should we find some more?
Weed is for changes. Where's the inventory?
How have you been?
The Burger King word.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh. Oh. Damn it. Man. Well, I'm gonna have to build my own ship at some point, and it's gonna have a shitload more storage than this. That's for goddamn sure. Where the fuck did Sarah go? You can build it. I know, Ethan. I'm gonna do that eventually. You can build a ship that has nothing in the center, like a donut. I've heard about this.
Hey, that's not what he said. You know what he said.
What can I help you with? I'd be happy to carry a few things. Maybe another time.
Okay. New Atlantis. Okay, I think I know how to get there.
You'll be scanned as you enter the city. Okay. No.
What I really want to do is build a ship that can hold a few tons of cargo, because I pick up everything. That's how I play these games. Oh, did you like the video I sent you? The everyone disses Franklin video?
Yeah, that was crazy. I like the comment. It's like Davy Jones gets 1 day on land every 10 years, and he chose to do this on that day. Beast.
The only thing that was missing was you should have gotten different voice actors. So it's like every character has their own voice.
Could you imagine being a black man and having literally an entire street full of people call you the gamer word at once?
I don't know if you saw at the very end, but at the very end, a bunch of N-word passes go flying everywhere.
Okay, I didn't see that part. I gotta...
And the implication is that Lamar, like, gave them out to everybody. It's pretty fucking good.
Los Santos Institute of Roastology, my god.
You'll need something else, I'll be here.
No, you can't say I'll have what you need. Yep, you got it. Take care.
Not sure if those Varun zealots live in space or got separated from their home planet.
It is really weird what things become memes. Like the GTA 5 Franklin getting roasted scene had been there for like 6-7 years, and then suddenly out of nowhere it becomes a meme.
Because of Japanese VTubers singing along with it.
Yeah. Was that really what caused it? Because I knew about the VTuber thing, but I didn't know that's what caused it. That's pretty fucking funny.
Well, like, it was always something that was made fun of, but when she did that, that's when it went from, like, funny part of the game to internet phenomenon.
That's pretty good.
People joke, say those
chef school. This ain't exactly where I saw myself.
Thing about the Trade Authority has access. You won't find a better selection or more.
Like
Oh,
here,
shows a ton of money.
look at how many views this video has, and look at the date that it was posted.
Oh, I didn't know it was like all of them. I thought it was just a couple of them did it. Damn. Man, the VTuber thing is so fucking weird. Like, how is that like this big of a phenomenon? It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I don't know. I couldn't answer that.
The Trade Authority appreciates your visit.
Hmm? Dropping off a few choice items? Bye for now.
If there's something you need, no matter, you won't find a better selection.
Okay, good there. Okay.
Pleasure dealing with you.
Okay, we now have a ton of money. I might be able to buy a nice ship now, although it would be more fun to build one, honestly.
That your ship that landed not too long ago?
That's actually become kind of a thing that's happened recently. Foreign people who are ESL, say the N-word, and then when people get mad at them, they're just like, oh, I didn't understand what that word really meant. I don't get the negative connotation.
You know what? I don't understand what that word really meant either. Let me go grab my Burger King crown for a minute.
I mean, that's basically what Myers Leonard tried to do. He tried to say, oh, I didn't understand how negative that word is.
Man, that is based from Myers Leonard. He was like, I didn't understand how cool that word really was.
I can't think of a better place to recharge and ready ourselves.
Honestly, I don't know if I believed him, but it's funnier if he did know and he did it anyway, so.
Exactly. Oh, man.
He gets so mad he forgets that he's playing for a team that is owned by Mickey Harrison. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thanks for hanging out tonight. That was fun. We finally made a little bit of Starfield progress.
Well,
I'll play this
hey
again
there.
later today, I think.
Nice long rest, eh?
So, I will see you guys later today. More videos coming. Oh, Dolores out? I didn't know
nice.
that, David. I already recorded my pregame video, and I assumed Delora was playing. Oh, wow, okay. We should probably win by 5 touchdowns instead of 4. All right.
Spicy. Well, doesn't mean anything if you don't win by 50.
Oh, he could still play. All right. Well, we'll see. See you guys later.